Good morning, everybody. It's wee Paddy from across the shuck. This is going to be, sorry about that. This is going to be what shall we call this? My Ganzo rant. Um, Once again, somebody came on and made comments about me buying Ganzos and why I shouldn't buy Ganzos, and didn't give any reasons really, other than I was doing people out of work, and you know, there we go. So that was about as far as he got. And I think this morning, what I'd like to concentrate in is maybe not knives, maybe a comparison to Ganzo knives. There seems to be this big battle throughout the world. This is not just because most of my viewers are American, and I have wonderful friends in America who have been the most supportive people that you could possibly get, as well as my European friends. I have a very close friend, Stefan, um, who's in Austria. I have them all over Europe and in the UK, and they're all supportive. And I suppose there's one thing I want to say. I can't afford expensive knives at the moment. If you wanted a sob story, send me a text and I'll give you a story why I can't afford Ganzos at this moment. It's a fairly, it's a fairly half decent reason why I can't, I have to say. But the fact is that I do like Ganzos, and whether I had money or not, I would still have a few Ganzos because I think they're great knives and great quality. But one of the points that this person had pointed out to me was that they copy other knives. Right. Okay, let's focus on that point. Yes, they do. Spyderco, Benchmade, ProTech. There is all sorts of different, and they look familiar. Now, there's no Spydercos that I know have got an axis lock. Well, it's not an axis lock, actually. He did say they've never had an axis lock, Ganzo. It's a G lock. It's similar to an axis lock, but it's not one. So, I suppose you have to count that if you're going to make a point. Yes, they do look like, and they have copied designs, but I'd like to draw your attention. This is like a courtroom drama this morning. The wheel. Thank goodness there wasn't patents about when the first person invented the wheel, because we would only have one. And this is where I'm getting a wee bit uptight. That the piece of equipment, the computer or the laptop or the telephone that this person, now I'm not just picking on him, there's been quite a few over the time that I've said it, but and I'm not going to use names. The person who was making this comment was probably using a Chinese phone. That's the same shape as every other phone in the world, but nobody complains about that shape. But dare you mention a round hole and you copy a round hole, it's blasphemy. Just saying. Also, their TVs are all the same shape, and I'll bet you probably a good chance that 80% of the TVs anywhere are Chinese, but nobody seems to complain about the shape of it. Chinese cars, Japanese cars, they're all, they've got four wheels, they've got doors and windows, and nobody seems to complain about the shape of them. It just seems to be our knife community are obsessed with Chinese. I mean, if you go to the traditional knives, nearly all the knives come from patterns that are years old, and they all just copy the same pattern, and they all get on. They build them differently. They add better materials, lesser materials, but they don't fight about it. We seem to constantly fight about, or not constantly fight, people constantly barrack other people for buying Ganzo knives in particular. Now, I don't only have Ganzo knives. I have Harns knives, San Remo knives, Brother knives, Weistart, all Chinese knives. And I love them just as much as Ganzo. It's just there wasn't much room in the table to stick them all out. Other knives that are made in China that I have: Spyderco, Kershaw, Buck. Now, I wonder who invented the first knife or who had knives first. Because if they had a patent it, we wouldn't have a knife to cut with. So yes, maybe the Chinese do take off other people's, but there's no company, no thing that's being invented in this earth that has not been copied by somebody else, because that's how the world spreads. Ganzos are not trying to compete. This is a Ganzo. They're not trying to compete and say this knife is as good as Spyderco's. Well, in my country, it's £100 knife. You know, say $115 for that in my country if I buy a Spyderco, which I have, by the way, because I think it's the best knife. But Ganzo are not trying to charge me. They're not trying to rip me off by doing copies. They're charging a reasonable price for a reasonable knife. And if I had £200 to buy a Benchmade, I would buy a Benchmade because I think they're brilliant. It's my Grail knife, the Benchmade. These are just knives that make up my collection. It might be cheap collection compared to other people's, but it's my collection. It's my money. So if people don't like it, I mean, I have my channel, I've got 170 odd subs, which is not very many. To me, it's huge. And none of my subs complain about when I do a review on Ganzo or anything. So I'm so happy that the subs I've got accept who I am and what I've got. I don't have a lot of money. Again, I'll refer you back. If you want a sub story to why I haven't got money, I can give you one. And I think it's a reasonable one. So give me a personal message if you want to hear why. But if you don't, do me a favour. Don't go on about Ganzo knives. Don't go on about what I can or cannot buy. I served for 12 years in my country so that I could have free speech, so that I could spend what I want, say what I want, and not do what other people tell me. I swore when I left the service, nobody was going to tell me what to do or what to say, barring my employer or somebody like that. But as far as my life goes, I swore that was going to happen. So this is a bit of an angry rant for me. This is about as angry as I'll get. I'll never call you a name. I'll never write a bad comment about you. I hope I wouldn't. I'd like to think I'm above that. But just, I wanted something so that if somebody says it again, I'm going to refer them to this video and say, go to see that video. I don't want any more arguments. I'm not going to discuss it with anybody anymore. This is the end of it for me. I'll just refer people to this video. I love these knives. These make me happy. I shine them, I clean them, and I do exactly the same as what other people do to their Spydercos. You know, I love that more than I love that. But I use that for my rubbish work and I keep that for dress. Do you know, that's it. There's no point me going on and labouring the point. Everything has been copied in this world. Nobody has done something for the first time, or very rarely. So let's just get off each other's backs. If people can't afford to buy expensive knives, leave them alone. Let them buy a bloomin' Ganzo. What harm is it doing? Spyderco get their knives, a lot of their knives, made abroad. Why do they do that? Because they love the country they're in. No, because the country they're setting to get them makes them cheap for them so that their markup is bigger on them knives. So, you know, don't come off with this, oh, you're taking people's jobs away. These are cheap knives made in China, backstreet shops most of the time, backstreet workshops, and they're keeping them people afloat and food in their mouths. Do you know what I mean? Anybody who buys one of these is not necessarily going to be somebody who wants to go and spend money on Spyderco. Maybe they don't have it at all. I was fortunate. My wife bought me one of those. My kids bought me a Tenacious. You know, I have other knives that my kids have bought me for Christmas and things. So, oh, that's it. I was awful hungry. I am sorry if I've upset any of my they really are loyal subs. Thank you very much. I don't mean to upset anybody or anybody else's subs. But then again, if somebody's going to degrade what I collect, I'm not going to stay sub to them. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and let them talk about my collection badly. It's my collection. I love it, and it's cost me as much money as I can afford to get my collection built up. So, From now on, this is where I'm going to refer people to. This is my angry one. Okay? And I apologize and I thank all my subs so much and my future subs. Most of my knives are going to be pretty cheap ones at the minute. I make no apologies for that because they are good quality. Some of these Ganzos are just outstanding. Outstanding for under £20. There's not one of them knives in front of you costs more than £20 or $20, I should say. Not one of them. So I thank you for listening to my rant. I had to get it off my chest, and I just want somewhere where I can refer these do-gooders and people that annoy me. Look, take care, everybody. Thank you so much. Sorry, but it was just something I had to get off my chest. It's off it now. It's gone, and I'm going to go and find some karma. Take care. All the very best. Have a great day. Bye, Patty.